one, go.
All right, cock and bull. Cyrus says becomes cock and bull, and of course we're in the middle of now part two of the pandemic, doom and gloom from most people around. Before I get into that, a piece of happy information. I think we should always start on a positive note, and this is Jeff Bezos himself is tipped now to become the first trillionaire in the world. The odds-on favorite to be number one at becoming the first trillionaire ever. And I want to tell you, we played a very important part in that because by staying at home, we've made sure that he gets richer every single day. So remember, you're doing your bit to make the world a better place for Jeff Bezos. I think that's something. That's something positive. With that, let's go straight into Silvery and Amit, who have joined me. Amit, of course, is reeling under the effects of a few people here and there around him. Not few, quite a few actually.
Quite a few, yeah.
Who have got hit by the virus. So suddenly it's hitting home again. As usual, we thought it was a little away from us, but then again, when it comes a little closer, it starts. I think we sort of some of us don't even think about it until it comes closer. And once it comes closer, it's like that. It's like marriage in a sense. Until you're in it, you don't know you're in it. Silvery, have you experienced any? Hi, have you experienced any friends and family with this new surge?
I just told him about 4 of his colleagues.
Yeah, that's true. But around me, dude, you won't believe this. My building right now has 12 cases in the building right now.
Oh my God! In your particular building.
So in my wing, there are 4 others, and so we are 4 wings. I'm in D wing, and in B wing there are about like 6 others, and then like whatever. Like in all the 4 wings total, karke there are like 12.
Right.
So
not to be like insensitive about the whole. Oh God, what's happened to my visual? It's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah, we see you, Cyrus.
Yeah,
we see you. Yeah.
Not to be insensitive about the whole thing, but it's a good time to buy in your building. I mean, if you guys have some extra cash on the side, this is where the risks get richer, like Jeff Bezos. I hate to say, I mean, it's not like it's his fault that the world has gone into lockdown and hence we need his platform more than anything else. But in a sense, there's always if you want to look at it positively, someone making good while things are going bad. There's actually that in any crisis. So just want to put that out there so that people start thinking of maybe ways to profit from pain.
It's actually really interesting what kind of businesses have transformed themselves completely, right? Like the e-commerce is one of them. They would the amount of uptake that's occurred on e-commerce right now is we're probably 5 years ahead of where projections were expected to be. Correct. Right? But also digital payments and things like that, right? Like I mean, like literally, I pay my Sabziwala with Google Pay. Like literally, my Sabziwala sends me a request for Google Pay. Correct. And I make a payment to him based on that, right? So I mean, like it's just cool. You're seeing this kind of acceleration towards things, of things which would not have moved this fast.
Yeah, which in a way is a good thing in a sense. But when we come out of it, let's see how it goes, because I think everybody will be spoilt with this staying at home and getting things done sort of thing, payment procedures and all that. I think that's going to stay. I don't see that shifting now, just because if and when the world gets better.
I think once you learn how to do it, it's better. Right. I mean, like the idea that instead of having to pay cash to somebody, I can just press some buttons on my phone and money goes from my account to his account. There's no physical exchange of cash. Cash is inherently risky because it's bearer as opposed to something else which is certified. Right.
Yeah.
So it makes I mean, like, I hope it stays.
Yeah, but there's one problem, and that's with people with chubby fingers like myself. I always do typos. I do typos all the time. So my big worry is, that it's supposed
to be
extra
money,
and I've sent 10,000. When my son uses the thing, I don't know. I'm so insecure about it. I always double check the cost. I ask him for the exact cost with the paise and all that, so I can sit and calculate it. But I'm terrified of my fingers pressing wrong buttons, sending terrible messages. Like the famous Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where he's supposed to write Larry Davis character has to write the condolence for the aunt-in-law, and instead of AUNT there's a typo and it's CUNT, and the whole show is based on that because now it's in the papers. honest mistake. How do you reclaim it, bro? Yeah, with the cash situation, I must tell you, I always carry the right amount of cash, not a rupee more. So I don't normally get screwed in the old days. Like for example, we'd go drinking. Silvery, this is a story for your generation to really. I don't know if you've ever done this. I would remember that Hayward's. We used to buy that Hayward's 10,000, which was like the big beer, and mix it with vodka, and it would just cost 27 rupees, and the vodka would be 42 divided by 4 people or whatever. So I would take literally 39 rupees. literally 39 rupees in cash and say, this is it. And then I've run out. And then, Vikram, can you help? I don't have any more money. That's it. So I was always, but I paid my way. And then in case we had more, I was screwed. But it was always the exact sum. And I purposely did it because I never wanted to pay more. Paying more was just not an option. And there's always, hopefully, one extra person comes and the division gets even better. But anyway, those were different days. So much for cash.
Cyrus, our Bengal elections correspondent has joined us.
What are you saying?
Correspondent and all, huh?
Yeah.
Correspondent, Vasanthi.
Correspondent, yes. Vasanthi is on call.
The fact that we wanted to call her show Nach Vasanthi has been thrown out of the window because this is a Nach of sorts that's happening in Bengal, quite away from our world here where we are in fear and gloom and doom and worried with it, more and more cases coming closer to our own homes. Vasanthi, so take us to other people's problems. Behind you is a beautiful elephant, by the way.
Other people's
that is
problems
a very
that are
striking
not
background, huh?
Sorry, Vasanthi, we got distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
sweet.
elephant's impressive.
Yeah.
See,
I would say what.
ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the elephant in the land of the Royal Bengal tiger.
There are a few cross from Orissa and land up there. It's okay. What a beautiful looking guy. I think he's an African elephant, by the way. The ears are too big. I have to tell you my little knowledge. Going away from the elephant exodus for a second.
But I'm amazed that none of us has yet made an elephant in the room joke.
No, did you want to really?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like it needs to be done, right?
Get it out of the way then.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I think it needs to
Amit.
be there.
Go for it.
No, dude, you two are the comics. I'm not the
is
comic.
Amit the elephant in the room in terms of Bengal politics? Yeah, that's a good point. You nailed it. Yeah. Okay, Vasanthi, the stage is yours. Tell us what's happening. Take us away from Mumbai's.
Tell us about the stuff you've been doing now. You sent us
all
some
those
of
videos.
Things. Yeah, I mean, like, tell us about those things. Not the
Also, Vasanthi is in Cooch Behar right now, where the violence happened. That the 4 people that lost their lives at the election polling. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he's there right now.
I don't think wow is the appropriate response. There's another elephant in the bloody room. But anyway, sorry. Go on, Vasanthi. What's happening? Is it as violent as it's made out in the papers?
No. So here's the thing that I, in my travels, and which I call, Bangalorean in Bengal. That's the title, because that's true. Like, you're having a South Indian gaze on an East India state.
Right.
And which is what I think a few friends say that, it makes it different because you're looking at it with new eyes in one sense. So yeah, I did.
Balanced viewpoint.
Spoke in what?
Balanced viewpoint. Kannadiga in Bengali stronghold. I mean, hopefully there's no axe to grind.
Yeah, no. All the axes have been safely packed away for South India, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, Kerala. I have come here nihattha, without any of those weaponry, because there's enough of khela that obeys in the state. No, I mean, you don't need to add anything of your own. I just have to hold and be the reflector of voices. 10 minutes before I came in, I was doing some little bit of hard work for your show, Cyrus, which is that Antariksh had told me that, can you be ready to join us? And I was trying to get some voices of Cooch Behar on the episode that happened. Very unfortunate. 4 people lost their lives. And trust me, not one person was willing to speak on it. In fact, we went to a chaiwala who looked so genial, like ready to speak. And I said, Dada, ki bolchi, what do you want to really say? What's your take? He said, Madam, Rajniti nahi bolega hum. हमसे कुछ नहीं, अभी हमको ये सब धंधा वगैरह चलाना है हमको. And he showed his little tea shack. But he gave me in that cooler, he just gave me a cup immediately without, but up chai lijiye, like you're so welcome in our place, but don't ask us about politics. I think that is more telling than what he could have told.
That's also a salute to the entrepreneurial spirit of the man, that he'd rather not get cowed down. I mean, he was a little cowed down, but he'd rather not lose the business, whatever happens. Sorry, Amit?
No, but that's somewhat contrary to the general experience in Bengal, isn't it? I mean, like, I've always heard of it as a place where you can talk politics with anybody.
Not if there's violence and then the threat to...
That's a good point, Amit, because that's what my impression was when I came. I thought it's going to be like Bangalore, and you go into any place, yen sir, hegidira, coffee aita, all that. However, they will say jol khabo and everything, but the atmosphere of political speak is not at every place the same. However, I was in Murshidabad. Murshidabad is also one of the or considered volatile
Dangerous
districts.
areas.
Minority is a majority in some of those districts. So I was there, and at one place where I stopped, and I shared this on my social media as well. It was wonderful to have people who were so, like, forthcoming with their views. And, like, they said it like it is. Like, at one place they said, "Didi hi aayega." Main koi shak hi nahi hai, ye Didi. And the anti-incumbency for TMC that many media people speak of is not anti-incumbency for Mamata. I think there are two different points. The people don't have any personal dislike for her. In fact, there is a grudging admiration for this woman who kind of takes on the
Who will they vote
the
for?
Amit Shahs and the prime minister of the country.
But who will they vote for?
Yeah. Who will they vote for? No, I'm saying it really depends on, like, yesterday in Siliguri, let me tell you, it was so clear that it's BJP. It's so imminent to me. I mean, I might be wrong. I might have to eat my words along with the, not just the Rasgulla, but the Shingada, as they call the samosa. I thought it would be a fruit, but it turned out to be a samosa. But it was very obvious. And also, Siliguri is a kind of an entry point into much of the Northeast. There's a lot of wealth that rides there.
That's the famous train, the toy train, no? Sorry.
Yeah.
That a lot of Hindi films and all have used that train. I've always had a little liking for that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm saying if we come to Par there, if I was to come to Par there, I would just sit on the train all day. It's very scenic, Amit, just to bring a breath of fresh air into Bengal politics. Yeah.
It's very likely that you'll get to do all that, Cyrus. But
as a BJP bastion in future. But so you're calling Siliguri, from what you get, the feeling you get is completely BJP, is it?
In Siliguri, I have no doubt in my mind that I could only see saffron all the way. There, in some places, it was not so imminent. Like, I have come to Cooch Behar, even in between, like in places like Palakata, where I was talking to people, there is a lot of, what I personally have begun to call it as a secret desire to vote for Modi while not saying so. I'll give you an example. In Sundarban, I was there in one place, and this is a place where a primary school teacher, Shatarupa Majumdar, is trying to build an English medium CBSE curriculum school for children of tribals and BD workers there. I went there expecting that this is TMC area. I mean, in fact, 2016, that man Mondal is a sitting TMC MLA. But what I could sense from talking to people was that, there was this thing ki kuch nahi hua hai, like nothing. We've given TMC enough of a chance, so we will now give this chance to BJP.
It's like my mutual friends, when they discuss me and my wife, they always take my wife's side, but deep down they want to take my side, but out of fear they don't. So what you're saying is underlying, we actually want to support BJP, but we'll just keep everybody happy with the politically correct thing for the area for now, which is to say Mondal and TMC and whatever. Is that what you're saying? In which case it's far more...
But then again, I mean, I want to make it very clear that these are, few pockets like Raiganj. We drove 8 hours from Murshidabad, Beharampur to Siliguri, which is really up north. There was this Dr. Chatterjee who was driving me in his car. And of course, I'm now leaking with knowledge about Bengal. He's an immensely knowledgeable man. We stopped at some places, even in places like Raiganj. Suddenly, BJP posters began to appear, which to me was a sign. Like in Murshidabad, that was not the case at all. I remember taking a picture and posting it, even from the Sundarban city, the lone lotus, on this island, and we were about 10 kilometers from the Bangladesh border. So it's really tough to give this answer in binary, because that's what people want to know. Yaar, saaf batao kaun aa raha hai Paa mein? All my friends have, and even those who know that I'm traveling on, ask me so. But it's as much of a suspense to the people of Bengal as much as it is, because since many of them there's this undercurrent of wanting to vote for the BJP while not wanting to say so. Like this, this gentleman, this chaiwala I met. I'm not trying to say that he will cast his vote for BJP, but there's so much of a double layer. You can't read that so easily. And certainly, I don't claim to be any expert. I'm like Huan Sang. I'm just a traveler across Bengal, and I'm noting.
Is it Huan Sang or Huan Te Sang? Because the T always troubled me in history books.
No, Huan Sang.
Because Fa Hen was much easier, I felt. It was a Fa and it was a Hen. Fa Hen was the other famous traveler.
No,
from
Our
that part of the
Pathak
world.
sir, our history teacher, Pathak sir, used to say Faheen.
What the hell?
UP. I schooled in UP,
What
and he
the?
used to say Faheen.
Oh, by the way, UP has shut schools, which tells you two things. One is they can be quite dynamic when they want to, and two, they have schools in UP. So just clarify. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Now you've said something which is slightly, I won't say controversial, but now I'm actually a little stunned. I've never thought of us as deceptive voters. I feel there's a certain sophistication for that, political consciousness, and the fact that you don't want to put your cards on the table. It's for a different culture, perhaps. But what you're saying is that what they say is not what they mean. Literally, going to read between the lines sometimes.
Yeah.
People
And
are.
there's a reason. Like from what we heard, even from the business guys yesterday in Shiliguri, I did a Facebook live from there, and one of the guys said that, listen, it's not like Mamata is a bad leader. She has her plus points. For example, she brought the hartal culture to a stop, which was a huge boon for people in the industry.
But
Because
she started the hartal culture also.
That was a commie thing, yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
okay. You
communist
can
thing.
look at it that way, but if you look at how the Tatas were thrown out and a few other businesses were not welcome,
you
it
look
comes
at
to
it
it's
that
almost like the same thing.
yeah. So the thing
Strikes
is
are
that
sorry, but just kind of like protesting a plant is different than general hartal.
It
They're
comes to
two.
the same. It comes to the same thing.
No, dude, they're
You're
fairly
shutting
different.
down
Yeah.
work. You're shutting down work. That's
You are
the end objective is
shutting.
the same.
So a targeted protest is, I think, a different thing. And again, I'm not a big Mamata fan or anything like that, right? But a targeted protest is different than shut down the city. They're two different things, dude.
The end objective is to make sure no commerce happens, no work happens, no trade
Well, no,
happens.
this was about making sure that one plant did not happen. It was not about making sure no commerce
That
happened,
one
right?
plant would have,
I
boomeranged
agree.
into so
Hey,
many
listen,
different things. And
dude, Cyrus, you don't have to tell me pro
you
business.
you removed
I
Parsis
have
from
4
Calcutta in
minutes
one
more,
shot. Huh.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have 4 minutes more, after which I have to run because I only have half a day more in Cooch Behar and I have 3
Stop
people
that.
to interview.
Oh,
Vasanthi, that's very
And
mean. You're making us look really bad because you're the only person working really hard like a professional with a proper, you follow a certain canvas and there's a certain profundity to your thought. And then we come back to us where I'm going to discuss a woman who chased my dog in the morning.
Cyrus, you have your wife, I have my mother. I have to show my mother
They look
that
the
I
same,
work
is it?
I'm telling you, when she watches this, she'll say, my God, my daughter is doing something extraordinarily important in Bengal. That justifies her staying away from home for 17 days. So your show is not just your show, it's useful to me in some ways.
No, but it's
which is why
scary
I'm saying that
it's
Yeah.
all right. We're not used to
This morning-
compliments. Don't worry.
And since she's not on Facebook, there's no way I can show off my busyness otherwise. So when I say things like that, samjha karo, there's
Yeah,
something
fair enough.
more
But
to it.
what you've done is you've opened our eyes to a far more complex sort of weaving of the minds in Bengal than I thought. Not to say that Bengal has not been given a lot of importance in terms of intellectual property, etc.
Prashanto, what do you mean?
But who is this gentleman?
No?
Please bring him into the
Okay,
frame.
you know what?
Ah.
No, there is Prashanto Kumar Roy, this young person of Cooch Behar, with whom I sat in the same elephant setting. Wala. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you one little detail.
You're sounding like me. One thought stops in the middle and the second one starts. Go on.
You're inspiring. You're inspiring. So I was on the bus to Cooch. I was in the bus to Cooch Behar, and I was trying to call up the hotel where I booked. And I was asking him, "Kya dada ye hai, wo hai, Wi-Fi hai, this thing." And at one point, he tried to be patient with me, and he said, "Dekhiye, madam, Didi jab aata hai na, Cooch Behar yahi rukta hai." So I am staying in a hotel where Didi stays when she comes to Cooch Behar.
Is that really true, or he's just saying that? Yeah.
No, everyone from the security, but they don't make a big deal of it. And I also learned one more nugget that right from here, there's a circuit house where she comes when she's coming as a chief minister. When she's coming as a party leader, Trinamool political person, then she comes to this hotel. And in fact, I also heard from some people that she doesn't function from the room where Buddhadev Bhattacharya used to this thing. So there are very, very clear boundaries of where she wants to put out her work from.
But
my
question is, does she pay?
I will definitely do this for you to go through the ledgers and certainly, amidst my election travels, I will check entries.
Especially when you come not in your official capacity as a chief minister, which may allow you some perks, fair enough. But as a leader of a party, even if it's a ruling party, then you should be paying, right?
Even if you come
yeah.
as a chief minister, you should be paying.
Central, yeah, and that's very central to the West Bengal mood. Election. This thing that we're talking about.
This ethics here. 4 people dying at a canvas booth was not so important, but this ethics of whether she paid or not. Fair enough. Hey, Amit, by the way, if I was chief minister, I'll not be paying. What's the point
You
of
have
being the
to.
number one guy in the state? I'll be like, no. I'll
The
make a
government will
pretense of
cover your
paying.
costs.
No, why should the government? The
The
hotel
government
owner will
will
be saying, "Sir,
exactly.
aapse paisa nahi." You know how many people have not
Somebody's
charged
gonna
us?
pay,
That's
no?
1.5 minutes
Yeah.
more. That's 1.5 minutes more.
The citizen has to pay. That's the way politics is run. We always pay in some way. Sorry. 1 minute left. Back to you.
59, 58.
Who you talked about that gentleman next to you? He had a very long name for a young man.
He's not coming into the frame. I even invited him. He's the editor of a magazine that that is in a way the voice of a community that I am getting to learn about and which is very important politically. In fact, Amit Shah also made a statement this morning, or rather I saw on the Bangla channel this morning about the Rajabangshi community, which has a rich heritage and history, and it is that in a way that's it's not been spoken about much, but there's a lot of history to them, and there is this political party that's trying to woo them, and their votes will count in Cooch Behar region. Did you say it's 60% of Cooch Behar, Prashant? Yeah, so he's not coming in the frame, but he's giving me very all the information that I need.
Can you put his
60% of
fingers
Cooch
in the
Behar.
frame so we know there's a person there? That would be great.
Just say hello from there so that he knows that I'm not lying.
Hello.
Okay, great. Ask him if he watched the KKR match yesterday and was he happy with the 2 openers?
See. Now that to say that I'm not lying.
Hi. Happy with
Say hi.
KKR's opening game last night?
देखा क्रिकेट देखा आपने?
नहीं
नहीं
देखा? Cricket नहीं देखा?
People have actual
No.
things to do part of the
Give me a
country.
minute. The country is just falling apart. People are dying left, right, and center. And now Bengalis don't follow sport anymore. What's going on?
Mohan Bagan, he would have watched.
Don't worry. The Mohan Bagan days are gone. Now they are following EPL and La Liga. No one's following Mohan Bagan anymore. Not even Mohan Bagan supporters.
I'm so 19th century, as you can
Really?
see. He's
Bye-bye.
saying Tata. That's it.
Tata, no. She said she removed Tata. Huh.
That's a
Back to
good
the
one. I
elephant.
really
Back to
can-
the elephant.
all the things you have said in this show, I can see this was a good one.
Can I just ask you one question? So what do you mean by this community all votes in one way? The sub-community that he represents?
No. So see, some of the communities, like for example, the Motuwas, who are the Hindu Dalits who came from the East Bengal side during and after partition, have become a very important vote bank. They are somebody who are politically aware of their identity, and after having been neglected all these years, are in a way coming onto their own. We also saw the Prime Minister when he was in Dhaka actually pay, his
Because of their
respects to
vote bank power.
Of course, yeah. Likewise, in this region of North Bengal, there is this very important community, and I had no idea, which is why I was trying to even understand, the Rajabangshi dialect, Cyrus, and this is an interesting point even for you, Amit, is that he was saying that there is a certain way, you would say a Bangla line and then the corresponding Rajabangshi dialect line, and the people of, let's say, Calcutta, the Bhadralok or West Bengal would, in a manner, look down on that it's not Bangla enough. And so there are these divisions. I heard about it even from my Bengali friends about this. Remember, I told you last time about East Bengal, West Bengal, and in this case, I would say you could call it the indigenous, people who are more indigenous to North Bengal, the Rajabangshis. If you have heard of something called the Kamtipura Liberation Front, there was also a demand for separate statehood, simply because, as I've heard people say, that the left parties totally neglected this community that has their own dialect, poetry, literature, music. I'm going to be beating one of the, singers. What's her name? Molina Roy. I'm going to record her music in a little while for the Pickle Jar Pole Express thing. But I'm saying that they were, even in the census, I believe they were asked to write their language as Bangla, not Rajabangshi.
But what's the difference? It's a dialect of Bangla.
It's not a dialect of Bangla. One quick reminder for anyone who's watching: the Cooch Behar was actually a royalty. We are talking about a kingdom that was the maternal home, Maika of the late Maharani Gayatri Devi. considered one of the most beautiful women in the world. I saw her, the palace. There's a whole. It's almost like Mysore. You keep seeing these palaces across this little
It's
town.
also a famous
So-
train and a famous cricket tournament, but I didn't want to bring it up because it would sound petty. Huh.
Yeah. I'm glad we are staying the course on, on this.
We all have different cultural isms growing up. My Cooch Behar experiences are very different. I didn't know about this tribe native to the area who used to are distinctly different in their subcultural sort of dynamic. But I can't believe that they're not. If you speak Bengali, you'll understand what they're saying, right? It's derived from Bengali, the dialect. They can't be so different. It's not like they're.
No, but see, unfortunately, Prashanta was not coming into the frame, but he even demonstrated how a same sentence would sound. It's like a kya ho raha hai? Like, in UP where I grew up, it was very normal to say kya ho raha hai, but you don't say that in Hindi. You say kya ho raha hai, as if you are this matlab shuddh Hindi bolne wale.
Oh,
So
you
then
come to my house, you'll hear all the genders. No, ignore.
Thank God I didn't. I have poor hearing.
Selective
hearing.
hearing is very good for politics. Selective hearing.
So the palace, by the way, is modeled on the Buckingham Palace. It's beautiful, it's serene and stunning.
In Cooch Behar.
It's got all these things in Cooch Behar. In Cooch Behar. I will continue to send pictures to Antariksh and to anyone who is interested. Is that it's a very different region of North Bengal. It's not something you can club with other districts, because this was a royal kingdom which said yes to join India, and next we know it's turned into a district, and then it's neglected. So many of these separate statehood demands, which we don't understand when we're sitting back in our states, whether in Karnataka or Maharashtra, is that there is really people who are saying, hello, this is our identity, our food and culture. You can't come and impose the standard Bangla, this thing on it and saying that this is the pure one. This is what it is. In fact, it was very poignant for me when Prashanto shared in some villages that mothers would tell their children when they speak in this particular dialect,
this is a bit of an eye-opener for Vasanthi, sorry to interrupt. This is a bit of an eye-opener for us, because we always saw the Bengali culture very strong about their language. Okay, if you grew up with Bengalis, etc. To find that there's a divisiveness in that language itself, and then other cultural bits that they seem to not agree on. This is a real eye-opener for me. I always saw very strong, homogeneous culture in terms of language, food, and things like that.
No, even in Darjeeling, I got to experience this. I'm by the way, taking the afternoon train back to Darjeeling. I mean, to Siliguri and then Darjeeling. And so they were saying, and to me, I was like, oh, wait a second. Bengalis are opposing the Hindi imposition, which is why there's this whole resistance, among other factors, to BJP. And here in North Bengal, there is this opposition to this thing to the Bangla imposition on their culture, which is a lot Nepali, which is a lot Rajabangshi, which is so much distinct here and cannot be given this one umbrella of, Bengali or Bangla. So I think which is what I literally spent 2.5 hours understanding and taking notes from him. Hopefully I will write about it as well. And it's not a very happy story for those who actually, gave hospitality to those who were coming in during the partition. The Hindus were coming in from the current Bangladesh and that time East Pakistan side. And then later on to see that they themselves, had to kind of let go of many of their rights and their identity consumed in the Bangla culture. It's a story that needs to be told.
Yeah, Silver, you haven't said a word. Obviously, you're opposed to Bengali culture of any kind. The entire podcast is just shot by you. It's like you're back in physics class in the 10th standard in school. It's just not paying attention to a single word. I want you to repeat the name of the community so that we know that we have learned our lesson well. And the answer is?
They are from Cooch Behar.
So you wasted your time again, Vasanthi.
You know why he's doing that? Because he was trying to pass off the question to you. Cyrus, let's hear you say it.
Raja Pankshi.
Good Lord. Someone hold me. Gosh.
No. That young boy will misunderstand. You've got to go on a train with him to Siliguri. It's a very romantic setting. Don't say things like that.
No, he's not coming with me to Siliguri.
Dr. Bhattacharya.
No. Ekla chalo.
But why Ekla? You always have an advisor with you, right?
Which is who?
You've always had one person with you who tells you about the area, isn't it?
How no? I wish. Excuse me, this is the time where I
get... Dr. Bhattacharya drove you left, right and center, Murshidabad, this, that, the other.
No. So, okay, here's the thing. there are enablers on the way. Like Dr. Chatterjee came in from point A to point B. Then from there, I do my solo travel. Then I get connected to this young person here. And, and then somewhere else, your network of women journalists enable you to meet someone else. But otherwise, I am like the person that Rabindranath Tagore said, walk alone, akla chalo.
I'm like that person that Radiohead said, I'm a creep. And I'm now feeling even worse. Because now Bengali politics has been turned on its head for us by you. With this complex. First, I'm still reeling from the first fact, which is what they say will not be what they mean, which means how the hell are you ever going to get the truth from any sample poll, especially oral sample poll?
No. So I'm saying that there are enough vocal people. Nothing that I can say about one place is true about another. But there is certainly no doubt in my mind that in many of these places, there is this, and some of them have said, off hai na camera, and then go on to say, and then they say, कि हम ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते क्योंकि हमें यहाँ पर यहीं पर रहना है. And particularly there was an atmosphere of, let's say, by the ruling TMC dispensation. Last time also we spoke about it, that this sort of unleashed terror and high-handedness. So I think there's a very valid reason for their not speaking up, and I respect that.
Okay. Anyway, I think Vasanthi, you've had a really good time of it. You seem filled with positive energy. So you're really enjoying the process. I don't know about the Bengali voter, but you are. And enjoying the different regions and the train journeys or what have you. But we have to take a quick break. Silvery just sent me a message saying Vasanthi is talking too much, way above the 9 minutes that we had given her. You've broken all world records here on our show. We thank you for that because we had nothing else to talk about. So thank God you came. But we're going to go to a quick break, and I think we'll let you go, and then we'll come back and do our AMAs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I saying bye now? Am I saying after your ad break?
No, you're saying bye now, but just one last, you come on now, call the election for us. 1 week back, you were like on a 50-50 with TMC slightly ahead. Now?
No. I think it's in North Bengal. I said where I am in North Bengal, it's advantage BJP.
So you're only telling me the regional score at the moment. You're not giving a holistic score.
Oh yeah, right. I'm so, I've so traveled through I've traveled through Malda, and I have और क्या बचा यहाँ पर प्रशांतो और भी तो मुझे, and I'm not even gone to Darjeeling yet. There's Kalimpong, which I wanted to go to, but then there's an Amit Shah rally there, and I can't see the Kanchenjunga if I go there.
Because the rally will block out the Kanchenjunga.
Because the curbs will mean to say that humble people like us will be somewhere probably away from the view.
If you don't get it there, we have a building in Beach Candy called Kanchenjunga.
Yeah? Is it golden, Kanchenjunga?
It's horrible to look at. They
it's beautiful. What are you saying?
Not the real Kanchenjunga. Now you pay attention.
The Charles Korea building. The beautiful Charles Korea building. Yeah.
See, finally he spoke. It took Mumbai.
Architecture. Okay, ma'am.
Architecture. Yeah.
Remember, not the mountain. Kanchenjunga itself per se, nothing happened. Moment we went into buildings of South Mumbai, he was like, yes, I'm interested again.
All right, people.
All right. Thank you so much, Vasanthi.
Vasanthi, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Most welcome. Amit Jachi. Bye-bye.
Amit Jachi. Amit Doshi. Sounds a little Bengali. Amit Jachi. Amit Doshi. Amit Chachi.
Okay. In Rajabangshi dialect, it's apparently called Mui Geno. Learn a new word.
Mui Geno. For bye.
Yeah. Geno. मैं चलता हूँ.
Mui Geno.
Yeah. Any gender doesn't matter in
no, I'll do this for. I have a friend called Kunal. He gets exasperated when you use different words which he can't understand. So I'll use this only for him. Yeah. And that puzzle look for 15 minutes is worth the effort.
All right. On that note.
Okay. Bye, Vasanthi.
Bye, Vasanthi. We're taking a quick break.
Bye. Yes.
Okay.
We have an ad for the break?
Oh, yes, we do. Just Cyrus, we can just read the previous ad I sent you. I'll just send it to you again. Sorry.
I can't. I'm on the listening phone.
Just 1 second. Okay. Oh.
Unless you can send it to my mother's phone. Or just tell me what it is, no?
Okay.
It's correct again.
Yeah, I'll just write it here in the description.
But we're live, so we should go.
Yeah, put it in the chat, please.
Simple.
Sorry, guys. Just 1 second.
Yeah, back here after a long break. This time
actually, we're still in our break.
We're still in
the
break. We're live.
In the break, we're live. Exactly, we're live in the break.
Yeah.
You have it, Cyrus.
There we go. and always looking forward, folks. This is good for a win. This IPL season, you stand a chance to win 100% cash back. Thanks to Cred. Cred is our most important personnel of the show. And that was the line that I was given. I'll play with it. But I'll also mention that I really like that Rahul Dravid ad. That worked really well. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, hilarious.
Cred ad?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it.
Oh, you got to see it. Yeah? Rahul Dravid.
I do want to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know why, but
my favorite moment is he throws coffee on an old lady's face. I mean, that
Rahul
kind of
Dravid?
violence. Yes. I mean, it's in the ad. She's been paid to get the coffee on her face.
Okay, I understand
like
that, but
an
okay.
errand driver and him, and they're fighting. The montage begins with that. He abuses and shouts and throws the coffee. I was like, that's so beautiful, really.
But our message that we are supposed to provide is not as much as we love the Rahul Dravid ad, is that people are supposed to pay their bills during the break, right?
Was that our message?
I think that's our brand message.
Okay, then let's go with that new version of the same message. That
so basically no, not during the break. So during the power play overs of the IPL matches, pay your credit card bill via Cred, and if you win, your name and face will be projected in stadium and shown on the Star Sports channel every day.
Right.
So basically that's what we're telling people, that please go pay your bills with Cred during the
power play overs.
During the power play overs,
brother. You got to make that distinction.
Sorry, during the power play overs. Exactly.
Right. Fair enough. Yep. I, of course, while I've endorsed this whole business, I personally don't like paying. So I'll get around to it slowly. Thanks to Cred, I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So IPL is going on.
Have you been watching?
I've been watching, but I can't watch the second half because it's way past my bedtime. They have no sense of time. You're supposed to do a 1.5 hour event, which always goes into 2 hours for 1 half for some reason. I mean, they fined MS Dhoni 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs to slow over it for the second game, the Chennai game.
But it's supposed to be 2 hours to 1.5 hours.
1.5 hours each side with 50 minutes break. That should, for me, me and time, I get very angry. I don't understand why they aren't. Anyway, so 12 lakhs they fined Dhoni, which is he doesn't. I mean, it's so little money for him. He said, like, why even bother calling me? but for you and me, 12 lakh fine. I would immediately make sure. Yeah, but they do, especially when you're bowling second, you do tend to take a lot of time as the match gets closer and closer, changing things, arguing. It just naturally seems to happen.
It's difficult to regulate time, right? Because again, then you gotta over legislate if you're going to regulate time. You got to be like, okay, between each ball you must have only this much time, and you got to do like all that kind of stuff, right?
No. The thing is, if the batting team is holding them up, then the umpire should interfere. The batting team can just suddenly say, "Oh, there's somebody walking here," and take a minute to restart. But if it's from the fielding team's perspective, they have to get on with it, man. What the hell are they doing hanging around between overs, chatting, calling their girlfriends, having a drink on the sidelines? Just get on with it. I think that a little bit of fining won't hurt. We need
I think one of the challenges that's been there, which I read is also there in the IPL, though I haven't watched much yet. Not watched zero this time, watched a little bit, but not watched much. But one of the challenges I heard is that third umpire takes too long.
Third umpire takes too long. Maybe there are too many options for allowing the third umpire. Maybe they can shut that down and say, no, you can't. This decision can't be wasted on. This technology has caused a lot of problems because you want technology. Then how do you please everybody? But if you want technology, the paradox is technology takes longer. Technology which makes you do everything faster actually takes longer in sport because the moment you go to VR.
It's not that technology takes longer. Technology takes longer when you combine it with human interaction. If you just let technology make the decision, you'll have the decision.
So then you're saying that the decision is made live. Yeah. Immediately the technology has said, okay, it's LBW. Umpire, don't waste time. Yeah. I don't know. Then what will the?
Yeah, but then that's the romance of the game that everybody wants.
Romance of the game, and it's not such a clear mathematical sort of scoreline when it comes to where the ball pitched, where was the camera exactly? Is it 100% in line? How it's
no. So
even
LBW,
in tennis and football.
No, I'm sorry, but LBW is math, dude. I mean, like it's physics. Like before wicket.
But if we accept that that's what actually happened, if we accept that what they're showing is where the ball landed,
dude,
just outside leg stump, for example.
You have to make it so that
where's the tracker position, Amit?
But that is
central from the middle stump of the next.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's not central, dude, accounting for angles is not exactly rocket science here.
Yeah, but I still think it's not as 100%
No, no.
accurate as you think. Yeah.
I'm telling you that LBW is just physics. That's the easy one.
Hmm. How do you
Catches
gauge
and
the
stuff like
bounce?
that.
How do you
Huh?
gauge the bounce going
Dude,
over
it's
the
physics.
stumps?
You know speed. You know ball. Ball positioning where it's
Each
rounded.
each spot on the pitch can be a little different. It's not.
Each spot. No, no. But then you have
It's
the trajectory of the ball after it. The trajectory of the ball after it bounces. There is enough information for
but
LBW
the
to be gauged
trajectory is based.
perfectly.
No, I'm not happy with the bounce. For example, I'm not happy with the line. Sometimes
But the
it's a little
trajectory
difficult for me
is
to see.
there. No? You're not basing the trajectory on history. You're basing the trajectory on after the bounce. You calculate how much the ball is angled up. That trajectory is visible. How much
But
the
the
ball is
pace,
angled to the left or the
the
right.
the pace with which the ball is left the hand doesn't necessarily account for
But the
what bounce you'll
but
get.
the but the pace at which the ball bounces will account for things. No,
The
this is not that
no,
physics. The LBW is physics. LBW is not the problem. The problem is catches. The
in
problem.
fact, for me, catches are not the problem because catches you can see where the hands have gone underneath and all. You keep
No, but that's
zooming
but
in,
that
zooming in,
is
zooming in until you can see.
no. But catches become because you're always assuming the human intervention piece of it, right? And you need that for catches to a degree which you don't need for
Are you talking
LBW and
about
you
the
don't need
edge?
for
Are you
run
talking about
out.
the edge from the bat? You're talking about the edge from the
Yeah,
bat. You zoom in and
the
zoom in
edge
and
on the
zoom in.
bat.
And
So
you no, I'm okay
no
with
no.
that. You've got the audio options, which tell you whether
Yeah.
it's touched or not. You've got the visual options which tell you whether it's touched or not. You've got the hotspot which creates the hotspot as it touches. So
Right.
sliver is good enough. I'm okay with all that.
Uh,
I'm not okay with taking bounce readings and length readings and line readings
but
because
how can you
I'm not
not
sure.
be? It is Cyrus, if it's calculated for each individual for a delivery and not based on the past. How can you not be? Because it is showing you exactly what happened. Ball came in at a 30-degree angle, hit at this spot on the pitch, bounced off at 25 degrees to the left of where it was, and was going up at an angle
But
of
in
40
that spot on the
degrees.
pitch, there might have been a tuft of grass
But
which they didn't account
you're
for.
calculating the after part. Huh? You're calculating what
But
happens
that tuft
after
of
it
grass can make
bounces.
all the difference. There may have been
But
a
but
stone patch,
But Cyrus, you
which they
are
haven't
looking at
accounted
what's
for.
happening afterwards, no? You
No.
have the distance between the bounce and where it hits the guy's pad. That distance is giving you a trajectory as well.
Hmm. Okay, fair enough if that's what you think, but I'm still not convinced when it comes to LBW.
Okay,
Oh.
all right.
And now we wasted our entire show on that. Yeah. So let's go to the third umpire, Silvery.
Yeah. Someone has commented, guys, there's video of the match. You can just watch it. Can we get to one topic before we move on to the comments?
Sure.
The Delhi High Court has announced that anyone, even if a single person is traveling in a car,
But didn't we discuss it last week? The mask?
okay, the Delhi High Court had given the thing last week.
Yeah,
Had given
yeah.
the okay,
Last
then,
week.
okay. So then,
you have to wear a mask while even if you're one person in the car. It makes no sense.
yeah, makes no sense.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so then there's one more topic, COVID related. The Bombay High Court questioned Sharad Pawar got his second dose of the vaccine at home, and Bombay High Court questioned how is a neta, why is a neta getting a vaccine at home if no one else is getting a vaccine at home? Because there's a reason that you have to get a vaccine at one of the centers.
What
If
is the
like
reason?
the reason is that you have to have a doctor to monitor. You have to they have to observe you for 30 minutes to see the adverse effects, if any, and so that just it, then I don't know, whatever, they got to quarantine for like those 30 minutes with the doctor.
So if the ball hits the
So
pitch and then goes towards the top of the pad and the trajectory is showing the top of the bail is hit, is it out
Right.
or not out?
It should be out, shouldn't it?
But now they're saying if it's half a ball, it's out. If it's less than half a ball, it's not out. Sorry,
If it
Silvery,
touches,
but
it should. If it touches, it should be out. If it's out, it's out. But see, that's the rule of cricket. I don't know the rule of cricket that deeply. If it's, but I mean, like I'm assuming the idea is that if you hit the stumps, you're out. So bails are parts of the bails are a part of the stumps.
yeah, so that's another area of conjecture. Having half a ball versus having a full ball.
Why?
So,
If it hits, it hits.
yeah, but they've used the half a ball call.
But
As against less than half a ball, which still hits and could drop the bail, is given not out. It's like that.
But that so now you're getting into a very very edge case. Now, how many times is less than half the ball
It
hitting
happens
the
all the
bail?
time. I'm playing the
Less
damn
than half
game.
the ball hitting the bail?
Of course, it happens all the time. It's not like it doesn't happen. No, obviously, it doesn't happen every second match, every second wicket, but it happens. Sorry, we're
I'm
cutting
sure it
away
does.
from Silvery.
Yeah, I know.
Silvery,
That's fine.
what were you saying?
no, I was just talking about Sharad Pawar getting a shot at home,
Which is also very important. Huh? So why
Yeah,
do you have to do it in the hospital?
because this whatever the reasons are, you have to observe a 30-minute. The doctor has to observe a 30-minute period. Have to observe you for 30 minutes. So
Post.
that
Yeah, they made us wait.
post.
They made us wait there.
Yeah, to see if
But
you're if you're showing any
here
adverse
that
effect or
can
not.
be done with the doctor standing by him for 30 minutes.
But I think the main problem is that if everyone has to go to the centers, even the PM and the and Amit Shah, what are the Home
No, but
Minister, went
he's
to.
just recovering from a surgery. To take his side for a minute, he just had a gallbladder surgery in the middle of the second part of that surgery or something like that. It's possible that it wasn't a wise move to move him. I'm thinking that they should allow people to come home for senior
That's true.
citizens and
Either
older people, and I don't see why that's a bad thing. In fact, I would definitely do it for my dad, who I've not taken yet because he's
exactly
80 plus.
either
And
everyone should be allowed to do it from home, or like people like say senior citizens should be allowed to do it from
so
home,
your
or
point
no
is
one should be allowed
that,
to do it
that
from
they
home.
shouldn't be using their power
I mean, yeah,
influence.
ideally.
Oh, okay. But what do you feel if half the ball hits the stump? Should it be given out or not out? Or doesn't matter?
No, half the stump should be not out, Cyrus.
Half the stump. Okay. If half the ball hits half the stump. Yeah, that's the point. Correct.
Half the ball is out.
The bail has to drop. If the bails drop, it's out. Right?
That's a very good point that some cricketers have asked for. They said now if it's a fast bowler, for example, a 140 km ball, and half the ball is hitting half the stump, as you pointed out, and yet it's given not out because it's maybe a little less than half. But their point is that kind of power generated by a 140 km express delivery, which is hitting that bit, will still make rattle the bail.
It did. I mean, like, I'm sorry. I have granted I haven't watched much cricket in the last 15 years, right? But before I used to watch quite a bit. The number of times when the ball would hit the stumps and the bails would not fall is minuscule. It's like really.
Yeah, but
minuscule.
they've got these strange points.
No, but I mean, like, I'm sorry, but if I can't think of how many times I've seen the ball hit the stumps and the bails not fall. It's like I can think of like I
It's
remember
very
seeing
rare.
that once
It's
in
very
the
rare.
80s.
But they've got this algorithm over in their heads that 1/3 of the ball is not good enough, and 1/3 of the ball is good enough. If you ever played any
It
cricket,
is.
it just
It
touches
is.
the
So
thing.
the algorithm is wrong, no? But the idea, but
No, but it's
the
also
algorithm
based
is
on
wrong.
some science, as you said. You're a big fan of the science. It's
I am
based
a
on
big fan of the
science,
science.
and they've come up with a proportionate scorecard saying that percentile-wise, this is where we're 100% guaranteeing you that the bail will fall, and this less than this, it will not fall. So it's all based on some sort of maths,
Okay.
rightly or wrongly.
I don't disagree.
Let's get back to the.
Yes,
We're
let's get
missing
back.
the point. We've got so many important. Bro, this show is going
Yeah.
on for 2 hours. I've got to walk
let's-
dogs and drink milk.
Let's get to the AMS. Yeah.
Yeah. Silvery is not happy. Yeah, go
No,
on.
it's fine. Let's get to the AMS. The first one comes from Tarun Kaushik. Hey, Tarun. He says, why do you think the mainstream/national media are not concentrating and showing the Tamil Nadu elections as much as they are showing the Bengal elections? Is it because there's too much drama with the BJP involved directly? What do you guys think? This question would have been great for Vasanthi.
The answer is very clear. Media is now completely power borrowing the BJP. And although the BJP is playing a role in Tamil Nadu politics, they are trying to upset the apple cart single-handedly in Bengal, and that's a much bigger deal for them. And so all the non-vernacular press is behind that show. And if you notice, because we've got this lockdown in Maharashtra, it went off the boil a little bit, but otherwise even Mumbai papers were filled with Bengal elections. So I think it's clearly a case of the media chasing the ruling government, especially the media we are part of or read, which is English.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I buy that the BJP, Bengal elections are also a little more competitive than Tamil Nadu elections, aren't they?
No. Tamil Nadu elections also a bit of a dogfight at the moment. There's normally anti-incumbency, that's what they say, but who knows what's going to happen. AIA, DMK have lost 2 of their strong stalwarts, one by death and one by retirement or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But and DMK is expected to win if you look at the form book. But right now, no one can call it really. It's very interesting. But I think the main reason is that only the BJP is the factor. And the BJP's moment is in Bengal. If they upset the apple cart there, they've really gone a long way into taking over the whole of India, in a sense. The South, of course, we'll see. They are playing the role of alliance partner and all that, but it's a lesser role. Well, in Bengal, it's all them. You heard what she had to say. People are actually supporting TMC, but actually wanting them to win. Who knows? The complex fiber of the mind here. It's a bit like the ball. Bengal elections are like the ball. It's like less than half the ball hitting the stumps. The same concept with the voters thinking. They're saying that part of them is saying TMC, and then part of them is saying no, I'll go with BJP. It's a mathematical equation that we still don't have an answer to. Even she's not calling it. Vasanthi is not willing to call it yet, which tells you that there is no clear dog in the fight.
True. All right. The next one comes in from Venu Gopal. He says, Amit Doshi, What do you think about planned obsolescence by giant companies like Apple and others?
It's thievery.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what planned obsolescence means, right?
It sounds like
And
Becoming
Deus
this
they're
Ex.
becoming obsolete slowly, slowly, slowly. Is that it?
the idea that when you buy an iPad, 3 years later it's no longer going to work because the
Okay.
iOS
That's
operating system
Apple.
that you need.
Yeah,
Apple
yeah.
does that, Microsoft does that, Google does that, HP does that with the printer cartridges. Everybody does that, right? I
Because
mean,
they
like
want you to
it's
buy more of
they
their
want you to buy
devices.
new stuff, right? And it's absolute thievery, right? I was listening to an episode about printer cartridges, from I think it was Planet Money or somewhere else. I can't remember, but they were talking about this, right? Where HP would literally, basically, the HP literally went into people's computers and said that if they have a refilled cartridge rather than an HP original cartridge, destroy their printer. Right? I mean, like they literally did that kind of stuff, right? So I mean, like
Oh.
it's
But in
uh,
defense of animals all over the world, the argument would be that we are taking technology forward, so we don't want to retain obsolete technology.
yeah, but I mean, like when I buy something, it should work for as long as it works. Now, it shouldn't be planned obsolescence. The obsolescence
Yeah.
should not be part of your corporate strategy. If it happens, it happens,
But is it an
right? Like,
Indian thing? Like we don't like to give up the project. We like to get the paisa vasool out of the toothpaste till it's completely gone. So
yes,
is it more like an
I
Indian
don't,
thing or
I don't
Asian
know
thing
this.
rather than a Western thing,
No, I
where,
don't
where
know
they
that
will
that's the
change the.
case, right? Because like again, like in some of these cases, it's pure property rights, right? It is my property which you are making
Ah,
obsolete. If I
that's
have an iPad 5, right, and you are forcing me, basically all apps, you are forcing all apps to update so that they are using an iOS version which came out in 2020 at a minimum. My iPad was bought in 2015. If I am to upgrade it to the 2020 version of the iOS, my iPad will basically come to a stop, but I cannot use any of the apps without doing that.
Yeah.
Right, this is a problem that all people with iPads face at some point,
correct.
right? That I mean, like, the iPads are no longer able to update the iOS because it is not working if you do, and apps won't work on your iPad if they're not. It's ridiculous. It's
Like you
thievery,
remember,
man.
very often these companies would market their products as the last phone you'll need to buy, the last laptop you'll need to buy,
Yeah.
and that is never the case. I remember a
No,
few years back, Google had this project which is now since been discontinued, but there was a project called Project Ara, in which they were developing modular smartphones. In the
yeah,
sense, the screen size would be the same, but say your camera module, your camera ka, say 15 megapixel, say you're not happy, you want 40 megapixel. You can just change the camera module. Say the processor you're not happy with the processor speed, you want to update the processor, you can just change the processor and you don't have to change, the phone still remains the same.
But
So that would be
Silvery, going back
ideally
to your
pretty good.
advertising point for a second, it's more the case of the next generation rather than the last. Huh? They use language which is more about the future always rather than it's the end of the past. As far as I can see, the hoardings and all and the kind of
it,
language they use in advertising is always about the next gen, the next generation, the next
That's true.
line
so
in this.
Indian technology advertising particularly is kind of interesting, right? Because when you look at hardware products being advertised in India, they're almost always, there are two types of it. One is the Oppo, Vivo, who are trying to build a brand and trying to do this, right? But when you talk about Apple, when you talk about Samsung, when you talk about Microsoft, by Microsoft I mean the Windows laptop, Microsoft laptops. When you talk about these premium products, it's almost always aspirational rather than trying to get people to buy it right now, then and now. You're trying to get people to buy it. Like, today, the number of people who can afford an iPhone in India is very low, but the number of people who buy a 3 generation old iPhone is actually pretty high, right? Like, right now, iPhone 8 is something that a bunch of people buy. You don't buy, you get.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm happy to take it if it's iPhone 5, 6, as long as the obsoleteness has not been completed yet.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, but the
no,
pricing is ridiculous for the brand new one.
it
Yeah, Amit.
is,
I
it
mean, unless
is.
you are that kind of CEO of some huge company and it doesn't even you don't even blink. Otherwise, I mean, the Nordic or
You,
whatever.
how do you how can you spend a lakh on a phone? iPhone and Samsung Galaxy, both phones are over a lakh. How can you spend a lakh on a phone?
Yeah.
People should be
I
shocked.
can't
Yeah,
conceive it. It's just like,
it's
it
just
just
ridiculous.
makes
And people
it's
don't even earn a lakh a month. I mean, you can't even account for it money wise. They still, Silvery, did you pay a lakh for your phone?
No, what? No, 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 not all.
Well, my producer on week that was in did Mohit Mahale. He's not earning that kind of money, but he can't resist it.
Yep.
And his excuse is, but I do everything on the phone. I say, everybody does everything on the phone. What the sense does that make? The whole
Yeah.
world is on the phone. I mean, you can't tell me that, oh, this phone is now my 1 point shop. It's for everyone. You know, that's no argument.
I can't conceive of it, right? I mean, I can't conceive of buying an iPhone. I can't conceive of buying a Galaxy. I'm just like, no, man, I can't spend that much money. Will not come out of my. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. I mean, I'm not as bad as you are, Cyrus, right? I mean, but at the same time,
No, once
I'm
again, you're
close.
passionate about these products. So in fact, you're in a bit of a bind, I would think, because you study the market, they appeal to you. There's a certain amount of passion. So you're in a bit of flux because sometimes you may
Not
be tempted
really,
to buy.
not
Then you
really,
then
because
you literally look at things from pros and cons and see what is worth your while.
so I actually find the phones that I'm most interested to buy are generally coming in the 40 to 50,000 rupee range, not the 70, not the lakh rupee range, right? The most interesting phones to me, the OnePlus 8, the Google Pixel, these are all 50-ish, like 5, 10,000 up down, right? And these are more interesting to me than
And how long
I
do they
find
last you,
50
give or
hard.
take? How long do
2
they
years.
last you? Give it
2 years.
so 45 grand for 2 years, so 22 grand a year is what you spend on the
You're
phone.
paying 2,000 rupees a month for your phone. Basically, that's what you got to assume.
Okay.
And then do you have other usages for it, right? Like I have an old phone right now which I use as remote control for my Chromecast, my television, right?
Okay, but
So you
that's all
can
it
maybe,
does.
huh? That's all I use it for now. I mean, like, it's an older phone. I don't use it for anything else, but it just basically, if I want to cast my Netflix or I want to cast Amazon, Hotstar, whatever, I use that as the kind of phone to do it. Because otherwise, what happens is that when your phone is there, you get a call in the middle. It's damn tough to pause on your phone and then take the call.
Yeah, fair enough. You also have more phones. I'm a bit of an NGO myself. I just give phones away to whoever I can find. I just feel I see someone on the road, I'm like, take this phone and get on with it. It's like that. I think people, if they circulate their phones, it'll help a lot. There are lots of people who don't want their old phones, but don't really care about the money thing because they don't have a financial issue. Just give the phone away to somebody else who cares more about it.
Yeah.
In fact, let's put it out there. My daughter is a huge Apple fan. So anyone wants to send their old Apple products, we're willing to give a shout
Yeah,
out
Maya
and
is going to take an
thanks.
old Apple product. I
Yeah,
believe that.
that's true. But I can try and lie to her. No, I can't lie to her.
Uh,
She's one of
guys,
those Apple geeks. She knows everything about the damn thing, what's coming out, when, where. And she keeps asking me things like, Dad, can we afford the 1,22,000 one? Luckily, Aisha was in the room. My wife was in the room at that point. She was appalled that the question was asked. She was like, I just said no
huh?
to food. I just said no to dinner from out. I just said to get tandoori chicken from a local restaurant. Probably $500. And she just vetoed that. And 120. But very nicely it was asked. It's all this psychology where you invest in the psychology. You start with the point, then you ask it again, and then it's an EMI of psychology till you crack the wall. I was 1,20,000, and this is a few months back, so I don't know what the rate is now.
No, it's the same. It doesn't change that often.
Yeah, 1,22,000 rupees for what is basically a phone which you'll forget somewhere.
Yeah, it's a phone. It'll last 2 years. After 2 years, planned obsolescence.
Oops. Okay, that was the question. Chalo, 11 passed. Can we quickly do the last one?
Yeah, last one. This is a funny topic suggestion. Comes in from Sid DA. He says, guys, in UP, some patients were given the rabies vaccine instead of a COVID vaccine as they were apparently standing in the wrong line.
What?
Yeah,
One
that's
second.
crazy.
Did they have 4 legs or 2 legs?
That's no.
Please
I
answer
mean,
the question.
rabies vaccine is for humans also.
Yeah, but
If you
I'm
get
I'm
bitten.
saying I'm saying even the doctor or the nurse is a little guilty here. Now, when
Yeah,
I
of
went,
course, for
Amit went.
sure.
We have a proper conversation in that little cubicle where they put you in, and she asked me a couple of things, and she just didn't pick up the thing and fire it in like that.
That's so
You
true.
know,
That's so true.
so and if I remember the rabies, I know it must have evolved now. It was a very big injection, at least back in the
Yeah.
day, and
It
very
used to
different
be an
looking from the
injection that
small.
you had to
Like in the
take that
stomach.
injection
No,
in your
not
stomach.
anymore.
No.
Not anymore. Technology is good
Okay.
now. It's not so painful also, but whatever. I'm saying this is great. But anyway, good news is so they may get COVID, but they can get bitten by dogs anytime or rats or bats. Oh, not bats because bats also give you COVID. Sorry, take bats back. Yeah. Well, beautiful. This is a kind of nice story that makes everybody happy on a Monday morning. Give us
Amazing.
more
Yes.
stories like this.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
So apparently there were three women, all three of them got the rabies vaccine instead of the COVID-19 jab in
Wow.
UP. So wow. Oh no, okay, I'm reading another story. Okay, someone didn't specify. It says three elderly women. So now
So now
anything.
you're feeling bad.
Now I'm feeling
Well,
bad. Like I mean now
the
it's
milk of human
possible that they were
kindness
just
now. Oh
yeah
no, because they were old,
the
they are
signs
victims.
yeah the signs weren't like
This is
put up properly or
ageism.
something.
This is ageism. Just because they're old, I fought with an old lady in the morning who told me, "Why aren't
What?
your dogs on the leash?" I said, "No, but
Okay.
they are not harmful. They'll not hurt you. Why are you bothered?" So she said, "No, I'm scared of dogs." So I said, "But that's irrational. You should see a therapist. Are you scared of the tree? Are you scared of the post office?" I pointed all the things around. We had a really horrible conversation because
Yeah, because you were a dick to her, dude.
I was very bad. I was obnoxious as hell.
Yeah,
But
that's a
this is
horrendous
my
thing to say to somebody.
I mean, what is this irrational thing? I'm scared. I said, what do you mean? I said,
But
when you see a
dude,
black
people
man, do you say,
are.
oh, he's black, I'm scared? That's like
No,
racism.
no,
You can't
dude,
just do that.
there are people who are scared of dogs. I mean,
I've
like
been
that's
nice too
not
long, Amit Doshi.
irrational.
I've been nice too long. There's no rationale to it. Just mad fear. Like she just take the dogs away. I'm like, what do you want to do? Then I
No,
also
dude,
mentioned that the lockdown has to be stopped and you get my parks open and I'll take my dogs there. I'm forced to come here. I have no choice. But yeah. I mean, I can't believe you're taking her side. That mean
of course,
woman.
I'm
What
taking
has her
her side,
contribution
dude.
been to humanity?
Listen,
She's done nothing for anyone.
I don't mind dogs. I'm good with dogs, right? But I understand a lot of people are afraid of dogs.
Yeah, but when they
A lot of people have
overreact and do
not
this,
grown up with dogs. A lot of people, for them,
but,
like dog.
but if they've got issues, it's in their mind. I explained to her these are harmless dogs. I wouldn't leave them loose if they weren't. Please use your head. The rationale has to come from you. You're the human being. I thought, why aren't you scared of the tree? The tree can fall on you. I told her, don't stand near the tree. And what was that post box? It was a big post box. I said, when I was young and drunk, we removed that post box. This very same one. Once, and I remember me, Gaurav Bhatija and Samir Saraya, and we ran around the city emptying the letters. Those were lovely times. Alcohol gave us wings. And we really thought it was a cool thing to do. And then we realized they all are fucking letters. We all live in the same lane. So my mother's letter to my sister, and to his thing in America, all those letters went for a toss.
When did you do this?
Back in the 90s.
Were you responsible for
90s.
my college applications not getting to my colleges?
I don't know why we did it. We've done some stupid things. You used to bring those triangular things home, straight from another police's nose, and they would even chase us.
Oh yeah,
and
the
drive off.
cones, no?
The cones and all, yeah.
That I think is a fairly
Yeah.
standard thing.
Yeah,
Almost
all
everybody
kinds
does
of,
that.
but they're just stupid juvenile things. They start getting worse and worse without you knowing it. Before that, you've almost done a crime. It's like that. Yeah. But anyway, coming back to the lady, so I was quite mean, and but I have to stand my ground because this anti-animal thing, there's just no end to it, man. Yeah. And they
Well,
they
no,
call it,
I get it. I get
see, if she was polite and nice, I would have reacted differently. But she was a little aggressive, like, oh, please put the dog on the leash and all that. I'm like, what? The dogs don't even look at you. They don't care about you.
It's
ignore them.
interesting. That is interesting. You're right. I get the aggravation at your end.
No,
But
you're
dude,
right.
people-
I should have been nicer because anybody hearing us talk with me, bullying an old lady, that's what it would come across as. But I couldn't stop once I started.
But you have to start sweetly. You can't just be aggressive from the
Silvery,
point
you'll
one.
never do it. You're you'll see MCBC2 in your mind, but you will never do it. You're too nice with old people. It'll take a long time to cross that. He'll be Hanji,
Like,
sorry,
Ji
ji.
auntie. Oh, sorry, auntie.
Something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
He'll probably tie himself up. Yeah. All right. Listen, this has been the longest show ever.
Yes.
And we're still in the middle of this COVID tragedy. So if anybody has any answers, because I'm sick of lockdown and I don't know what's happening with the vaccines, is there any other solution? Please write in to the government directly. But we can also take the suggestions. What do you say, Amit?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have an answer now?
Yeah,
it's
we're
getting closer
solving
to
it.
home.
We're solving this.
That's your answer. That sounds like the Congress. Ho jayega. That's the best answer of all.
Honestly, dude, you're not gonna like my answer, right?
Lockdown for a month.
Not for a month, but at least for a week, 10 days, right? I mean,
I don't have a problem with lockdown for a week, 10 days. I'm saying just
Yeah.
space it out so that we can work. I'm saying you find compromise grounds always. One or the other is no way to work. We've got an Amazon shoot this week. You've got your own stuff lined up. He's got things lined up. Again, we're going to go back to zero. Just when everything was like getting back on its feet.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
yes, if people can't deal with it and there's so much fear there, we have to take some action. So whatever. The weekend makes no sense actually because if there's a dip, it's like a token dip. So I think if they did 10 days back to back, really harsh, where nobody leaves the effing house, no shooting, no business, whatever you call it, they'll get some result. Then give another 10 days of work and then try again 10 days, something like that.
Antariksh, I got a question for you. Is Nirja Takkar your mom?
Yep, she is. She's here.
She's in the chat.
Oh, hey. Hi, mom. Oh, what is she saying?
Where is so first question is, where is Cyrus shooting from today? And her second question was, Cyrus and Amit, have you taken the first dose of the vaccine?
She knows we're old.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Also,
she must be wondering why we have to take the second.
Also, I think she's just asking the question even though she knows the answer because she wants to ask a question. Because she watches the show, she knows you guys are taking the answer.
I got to tell you, never be ashamed of Indian moms. They are wonderful people. I used to be like that because my mother's also a little bit, trying to follow my career when I was younger and this and that. And, sometimes saying the wrong things about how proud they are of the child. But as you get older, trust me, Silvery, that's the only person in your corner. Okay, so you don't be mean to your mom, whatever happens.
No, never.
At age, when you're 50 years old and everybody is like, oh God, Silvery, the bloody comedian. She's the only one someone who will still say my beta is quite talented. So just remember, there's something in that. It's like a mutual fund. Just keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are we
Yeah.
done?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Bye bye.